There's a part of me that feels obligated to do an episode on TJ Watt. Just Watt. Out of, some sort of moral obligation because of who he is and what he means. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Steelers. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into hockey and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Penguins and Pirates in the same place that you found this. We're about a month away from training camp opening in Latrobe, and we're probably a month and change removed from the last time I did some serious TJ talking here. Well, I'm going to invest this one in the franchise's best player and the world's premier defensive player, but I'm going to do it in a little bit of a different way. I'm going to put forth the notion here today that TJ could be in for the best season of his already beyond brilliant career. And while I get that that's not exactly straying out onto the limb, I do feel confident that I can back this up. To start with an intangible, there isn't a more motivated individual that I've covered. It's not to say he's the only one who's ever been at that level, but he's just right up there. And for as much as he is, and doesn't hide this, motivated by being named Defensive Player of the Year or being ticked off when he isn't, it's been very easy to see that he's infinitely more motivated by team achievements and what I guess you now could say is really the one blemish on his career, which is that he hasn't been part of a single playoff victory. What's more, in those 4 playoff games in his tenure, he's played in 3 of them. Obviously didn't play in Buffalo against the Bills earlier this calendar year, but in those other 3, the Steelers defense gave up 45, 48, and 42 points. I mean, I know it wasn't all the defense, but that's what showed up on the scoreboard at the end. So none of that is a particularly great feeling for him. And he and I have talked about that, and he'd love nothing more than to be able to address that emphatically. Second thing I'll bring up, and this is all tangibles, in his 7 seasons, he has, you ready? 96.5 sacks in 7 seasons, 27 forced fumbles, 10 fumble recoveries, 7 interceptions, 46 pass defense. He's still 29. Now, he turns 30 in October, but as you and I are talking, he's still on the right side of 30. There's no reason for there to be any sort of athletic or wear and tear type of damage. Sure, he's had some injuries, and sure, they add up, but you won't find a single statistic, not one, in which there's been any significant drop-off, and you won't find a single advanced metric in which there's been any drop-off either. He gets it all done now the way he's always gotten it all done. But my third and final point here is the one that I really want to pound home today. Even though nobody seems to talk about this, and I really mean that, because everything is offense, worrying about the quarterbacks, worrying about the wide receivers, worrying about the new coordinator and the playbook and all that other stuff. And I get it. I do a ton of that myself. The offensive line, I didn't even mention, tight ends. All of that stuff is the prime conversation that's being had about this team over the offseason. But this defense, if it comes together as the Steelers are hoping, if it gets, it doesn't even have to be very good. It can just be good or sound play from a couple of positions. One of those, I think, being Deshaun Elliott at safety, another Dante Jackson at outside corner. There's the very real possibility that this defense could be something special. And I don't know that anybody's even licking their lips over this. They are. I'm talking about on the outside. I could rattle off a bunch of examples to support this, but I'm going to give you just a couple instead. One is, this one only ever requires 2 words, Patrick Queen. But Queen is going to be joined by Peyton Wilson, I think. If not, Elandon Roberts. But probably Wilson. That takes a position that really got damaged beyond recognition in 2023 and turns it into an undoubted strength. You want another? How about TJ's own position? How about that quietly, but confirmed, Nick Herbig is going to be the 3 when it comes to the outside linebackers. TJ has made known, including to me over the years, that he really prefers a heavy rotation. He and the defense were blessed to have not just TJ and Alex Highsmith and Herbig, but also Marcus Golden. And really, Golden was the 3 last year, Herbig coming in as the 4th guy. And, full credit to them. With TJ out in Buffalo, those guys still got the job done against the Bills within their own responsibilities. I think we can all agree on appreciating what Herbig can bring. From a pass rush standpoint, he's going to need to become a more complete player to be out there more often. And then throw in Cam Sutton being your slot corner. It's going to be a really good group, this defense. And I know the defensive line still doesn't excite too many people, but let's see how Cam Hayward operates as a motivated guy with a new extension and all that other stuff that you and I both know he's going to be. The highly, and as it should be, anticipated year 2 of Keanu Benton in the middle of that line. It's a really good group. And no individual, well, I shouldn't say that. TJ will benefit a lot. I was about to say no individual will benefit more than TJ. No individual will benefit more than Minkah Fitzpatrick, okay? Because everything that's being talked about all summer in this little world of the Steelers is that they need to free up Minkah again. They need to let Minkah roam, let Minkah eat. But the same can be said for TJ. He doesn't often get double teamed, but he does get keyed on. And he gets avoided. And if it's coming at you from all over, that's going to be a lot harder to do this year than it was last year. When we come back, J1Q. Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George. LGKG is a personal injury law firm in Western Pennsylvania that represents people hurt in car accidents or who need help with workers' comp or medical malpractice. When the attorneys at LGKG make you a promise, they keep it. They've been keeping promises in our region for over 80 years. LGKG's been AV rated, the highest rating a law firm can receive, and they've been designated super lawyers. That's actually a thing for over 15 years. It's a rare combination. LGKG has offices in Cranberry, Newcastle, Beaver Falls, Butler, and Elwood City. Learn more about them by visiting lgkg.com or by calling 888-842-5454. LGKG. Today's J1Q comes from Tommy, who says, DK, could Omar Khan use some of that $16 million he's got in cap space to sign Najee Harris to an extension or long-term deal before the start of the coming season? I have a couple answers here for you, Tommy, and I have a feeling, since you're asking this, that you're going to like them. One is that, yes, he can find ways to turn current cap space into money that's spent into extensions because he can arrange for signing bonuses, money to be fronted, meaning more paid now rather than later. So yes, he can do that, and it's not limited, obviously, to Najee. He can do that with Cam Hayward, as well, as I've been bringing up for a few weeks now. I'm going to say this as well today. I remain, based on what I've heard, 100% confident that both Najee and Cam will be signed to multi-year extensions before the summer's up. I am aware that these things can get rocky. I'm also aware that they're sometimes deliberately made to be rocky. And I've heard some things that would strongly support that. Let's just say that the con man can be the bad cop as well as the good cop in the scenario. He knows what he's doing. He's learned a lot over the years, mostly behind the scenes. Now he's right up front, and he doesn't appear to be backing down from anyone or anything on any front. That said, in the case of both of these athletes, I have heard nothing but that the Steelers intend to sign them both to meaningful extensions. Now, how would everybody feel about that being what takes up the remainder of this cap space versus going and getting, the dream wide receiver that we're all talking about all the time? I can't answer that, obviously. But if the Steelers are able to sign both of these deals, and they do so in a way that protects them cap-wise over the following 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it happens to be in either case, then an argument could be made, and this would be on Omar's behalf, that he did right by the team, considering that next season he actually is going to have to pay a quarterback. Never, ever, ever leave that out of your calculations when it comes to these scenarios. I can assure you that Omar isn't. I appreciate the question. It was a good one. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Steelers. And we'll be back with another one of these on Monday.